it's Thursday, and this is our 75th show. Where's the... We thought we'd only
Where's
do
the
this
confetti
for...
cannons?
Yeah, where's the confetti? We thought we'd only do this for 2 weeks. I'm still doing it. In fact, this week I was doing KTLA in Los Angeles. Last week was daytime in Tampa, Florida. Since you can do it remote, you do it from your kitchen. But I'd like to welcome you so much, and we're going to go back in time a little bit, and I'll talk to you a minute about that. But before we get going too far, let's introduce Neil before me today. That's Neil, and that's Neil's hand. Tomorrow he'll get to taste the foods on Friday. But I've been doing these, like I said, 75 shows. My very first show I did was 1993 in Los Angeles called Live in LA. With Cindy Garvey and Steve Edwards. Steve Edwards was before Regis Philbin. He did that show. And Cindy Garvey was the baseball player's former wife. And I did this recipe. So I thought 75th show of the kitchen here, not 75th on air. I think I've probably done 500 shows over the years. Because after Mike and Maddie was after Live in LA. Then we started doing all sorts of things across the country in little ABC, NBC, CBS stations. Then I started doing San Diego a lot. So I'm down in San Diego a lot for the CBS station down there, the affiliate down there. And I used to be on the CW down there. So you just never know where I'll show up. And what happened was how I got the job on morning shows. It was about 6 months before the Food Network started. In fact, I worked with them also, and Food Network Canada. But before the network started, I had been let go from Disney, and it was in December. And I had 2 weeks left at Disney, but I had Monday and Tuesdays off, and I was watching the morning show with Steve Edwards and Cindy Garvey and some guy, Mr. Pie. I don't know where he is or who he was. And he made this pie using a frozen pie crust and a can of pie filling. And that was it. And I thought, well, that's kind of stupid. And this is before the Food Network, so people weren't doing a whole lot of... Graham Kerr was doing the Galloping Gourmet, Julia Child was doing some stuff. Nothing like it is today. So what I thought, well, that's kind of ridiculous. So I called a friend of mine that's in the industry, and I said, how do I get on the show? I want to show how to make a real pie with a real crust. And she told me how to do it. Call the segment producer, wait until the next day, and you watch the credits go by. So I called up the station. I asked for the segment producer, who was Mimi Priza, is her name. And after I talked to her and I said, I'd like to do a food segment. She says, do you have a book to sell? I said, no, I just would like to do some food segments. So she gave me a chance, but she said, when you come in and bring tapes of your old shows, I'd never done TV, and bring some ideas. Well, I was always taught, if people have things in their mouth, they can't talk. So I thought I would bring a bunch of food. So I brought 12 show ideas. This is back when you would say, 4 cups of flour, 2 cups, and you'd say it slow enough so people could write it down. Not like the internet where all these recipes are online now, but that's how you had to do it. So I mapped out 12 shows. I brought food for 12 shows. I cooked all day. That following Thursday, I went in with all 12 ideas. She looked at them and she was eating, and she didn't ask me for my tapes. And she said, you want to go on next Thursday? So I started doing that show. Then Mike and Maddie came up. So that's, they asked me to do the national of that, and I did cinnamon rolls. Now tomorrow we're going to show my show from that, which is the 4th of July segment that we did a few years after I'd already been on the air with them for a while. So we're going to do some muffins. Did you have a question, Neil? Nope. Neil looked like he had something you wanted to ask.
Well, where's your star on Hollywood Walk of Fame or your footprints in Grauman's Theater?
Neil can be so sweet and supportive, I must say. So let's start with this. What we have here is it's lemon. Sometimes I put poppy seed in it, but this is a lemon blueberry. I had some blueberries from my farm to farm fresh to you, so I'm using those. And I noticed earlier Neil was putting some in his mouth like they're candy. So we've got eggs and whole milk and lemon juice. So we're gonna put that together as I slop it everywhere. And I'm gonna do this with the lemon and squeeze it because I don't have my handy dandy squeezer. I think it's in the wash. So, and a few seeds went in, so I'll pull them when I'm doing that. Here is baking powder. Baking powder. I have it in the recipe, and so many people use baking powder they look at the date. Don't look at the date. I want you to test your baking powder. I have a big jar of it and I test it all the time. But this is how you test it. You put a little bit, I'm putting a lot here so you can see it. And if it starts bubbling like it's doing right now, almost like 7-Up, then it's good. I don't rely on the date of baking powder. And mostly during the holidays, if you haven't, don't drink that. It reminds me of that, what was it?
Bicarbonate of soda?
No, what was the rest? The two little things you put in the water?
Alka-Seltzer.
Alka-Seltzer. Plop, plop, fizz, fizz,
Fizz.
what a relief it is. Isn't that what it was? See, I could have done jingles too. I remember that one. So anyway, there's that. And I'm going to just stir together my eggs, my milk. And the milk is from farm to table also. It's glass bottle. And earlier I saw Neil taking a swig of milk with the glass bottle. It was heavy, wasn't it?
It was.
Trying to get it up in the air.
Brought me back to my teenage years.
Now all of our dry ingredients, we're using cake flour, which is milled from winter wheat, and I suggest you use cake flour. Don't do all-purpose and sift it 3 times. It takes too long. And just buy some cake flour, just like that. Then we have sugar. So we have our wet and our dry, sugar and butter, and the butter is room temperature. And we're gonna let that go for a minute. Room temperature ingredients for everything, it works a lot quicker and easier and faster. Besides our muffin today, from my first thing on television, I'm going to also make a pasta salad for 4th of July, since it's 4th of July week. Now when you look at this, you've got big chunks of butter, not big chunks, but it's not creamy yet. So it's kind of, it's like,
It's like potatoes almost.
Potatoes?
Rice potatoes.
Now we're going to take some of our lemon zest, because that has all the oil in it. We're using a microplane, rubbing it across and down. I can smell the lemon, like I always think it smells like lemon pledge. My mom would use lemon pledge. I wonder if she still does. I should ask her. She's probably watching, so Mom, do you still use lemon pledge? And then she'll say it in the comments. She's my biggest supporter. She watches every single show. She's watched 75 shows. I don't think she's missed a one.
Really?
Yeah. Even when I was in 4th grade, she went to my trumpet talent shows. Talent shows, you have to have some talent. I didn't have any talent in 4th grade, but it was, I thought I wasn't doing too bad. All right, so there's our liquid. Pour that in. We'll blend that up. Then I'm gonna hand put, now this will have some chunks, which is fine. It's not gonna be creamy, because when it hits the oven, you'll get pockets in your muffin of the fat. Don't you hate that word fat? So, I'm gonna start it with this, and then I might use a just to get it moving. Then I'll probably use a rubber spatula. I don't want to mix this too much, just until it's incorporated. Not like a cookie batter. Okay, turn it on when it's up in the air. All right, see how it's not incorporated all the way? We're gonna blend the rest. And the reason why we don't keep mixing, because the muffin itself, if you blend it really fine, same thing with pancake batter, it won't rise. So that's it. Now, we're gonna put our blueberries. Now, blueberries, these are fresh, so they'll be okay. If they were not fresh and they were frozen, if they were frozen, you take them right from the freezer and put them into the mixture. Since they're fresh, they won't make the batter purple. And I'm going to put almost all of them in, except a few I'm going to keep out so I can decorate the top. And just a little bit in here. Instead of the blueberry, you could put chocolate chips in. And I like to let people know that, oh no.
I don't know that one.
I said nothing to her. She wants to be the star. Last week we had to start all over. Okay, I'm using a scoop, about 3/4 full. This is a number 20 scoop. All the scoops have numbers, and it means how many scoops you get out of a quart of something. I always say quart of Ben & Jerry's ice cream, because how many people have quarts of Ben & Jerry's ice cream? Mostly everybody. Now that you're at home more, and 4th of July, looks like all of our beaches are going to be closed. I haven't been to the beach on 4th of July. It's a madhouse when it is.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone on 4th? No, Neil and I and a friend of ours, Jonathan, we normally travel 4th of July. And this is our first year. It's our gift to each other instead of Christmas gifts. And we go somewhere. Last year was, we've gone so many places.
Gosh, where did we go last year?
Was last year Detroit? Yes, it was.
It could have been, yeah.
It was Detroit. And people get, why do you go to these places? We went to Buffalo, New York, Custer, South Dakota. We just pick a place, and we want Americana, and it's a lot of fun. So we are missing going this year. So I'm going to put a few of the, I will scoop the rest of that. I just don't have any papers in another pan close by. The reason why we put blueberries on top, a few, is so you know what it is. I know I'm only making blueberry, but if I was, it comes from being in pastry shops. When these bake, if you didn't have a few blueberries on top, they would look like a chocolate chip muffin. So you put what you have on top of the muffin, so the salesperson knows exactly what it is. So we're going to put these in the oven, and they only go in the oven for about 15 to 18 minutes. So we'll be back when they come out. While our muffins are in the oven, we're going to do our pasta salad for a crowd. So you can do this, double it, triple it. It's really easy. And I'm going to make a vinaigrette. We've got some buffalo mozzarella that I've cut into little squares. We've got cherry tomatoes instead of regular tomatoes that I cut in half. Got some basil or basil. And we've got our bow tie pasta. And let's make our vinaigrette first. So we're going to take fresh lemon juice. I squeeze it. I don't think you need to watch me squeeze it. We've got fresh garlic. My fingers smell like the garlic, so. And we've got a little bit of mayonnaise. We got mustard. That's the other one. The other one that starts from the end. And blend that together. Now, whenever I do these, people look and go, I don't think that's enough. Trust me, it's enough. You're gonna get a lot of flavor. So while you're gonna drizzle it in, while you're whisking, so you'll emulsify, which it will blend together. If you just dump it in, it won't blend. That little like half cup of dressing is all you need. So there's our pasta, our dressing. Make sure I get all the, this little spatula doesn't get everything like this. Larger, whatever one to do. And we've got our mozzarella, tomatoes, basil. Toss, toss, toss. Neil's hungry because this is part of his dinner. Do you have any questions,
good.
Neil?
No, it looks good.
Now,
No herbs? No nothing like
the
that?
basil was herb.
Oh,
Okay, so you toss this all, and then you're gonna put it on a platter and make sure you get the top has to have some of the basil and everything so you can see it real well. And tomatoes, basil, whoop. You can chop some more basil and throw it up on top on your dish. So here's our pasta and our blueberry muffins. 4 more minutes, we'll be back. And we finished our 75th show. Whew. Are you tired, Neil? Anyway, our blueberry muffins came out of the oven and I think they look phenomenal on the red plate because there's blue, red, and white. And there they are. And there's our pasta salad. And we hope we see you tomorrow because tomorrow's our 3rd of July celebrating 4th of July Mike and Maddie Day because we're going to show you the old show of myself when I had dark hair. And it's a treat. You should see how the segment is. So anyway, we're on a pier, a short pier in the fog. Take care and thanks so much. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, everyone.